Honourable Dr. Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, I could hear the bottom of the barrel scraping as the desperate Deputy Leader of the Labor Party gave that speech. Let's cut to the chase. Labor made scurrilous allegations about the International Convention Centre deal. The opposition laid a complaint with the Auditor-General, and the Auditor-General concluded they got it wrong. If they had an iota of decency or integrity, today's speeches in the House would have been apologies from the Labor and the Green parties. Mr. Speaker, I'm not going to get into a dissection down to the subparagraph or sentence of the Auditor-General's report. The TVNZ headline said it all. Report clears government over Sky City deal. It speaks volumes, Mr. Speaker, that every one of the main dailies today gave greater prominence to the resignation of Charles Chevelle from the Labor Party than the Auditor-General's report on the Sky City. Now, what does that tell us? Well, remember, Labor had billed this Auditor-General's report as their big hit. This was going to be the political game changer for 2013. Instead, the story is that they have lost one of their best brains. Charles Chevelle can see the writing on the wall. Labor is leaderless and hopeless. They don't know what they stand for. They've resorted to throwing mud rather than actually dealing with the challenges facing New Zealand. And the fundamental problem for Labor on the issue of the International Convention Centre and more broadly is simply one of credibility. I've got a very simple question for the three Labor speakers that have spoken and the next Labor member to their feet. Why was it okay in 2001 for a Labor government to do a trade-off deal of 236 pokey machines for a $36 million convention centre in Auckland? Where was Grant Robertson when that deal was done with his pious comments in the House this afternoon? Where was David Shearer? Where were the other Labor men? Where were the Greens? The Greens were propping up that government and didn't only not lay a complaint with the Auditor-General, they did not speak and utter over that arrangement, and that reinforces that it is all politics. But there's a bigger problem for Labor. You see, David Shearer has been charged for over a year, and New Zealanders have no more idea today than then as to what he stands for. As much as what we've got from Mr. Shearer is that he believes in hands-on government. Well, what the heck does that mean when on all of the critical issues of getting an international convention centre and the jobs from that, growing our oil and gas industry, creating jobs in aquaculture, creating and expanding irrigation to grow our most important primary industry, on every one of those, Labor has said they're hands off, and all that exposes is that David Shearer's fundamental line that they're going to be a hands-on government is shallow words for a lack of policy. And there is another problem for Labor's position on the Auditor-General's report. They say if there are any process problems, that's what they said, process problems is what the Auditor-General said, then it's cronyism and corruption. Well, that's what's happening next. There's another Auditor-General's report due next week. It's about one of their colleagues, Mr. Shane Jones. I wonder if the Auditor-General finds that there are process problems around the immigration issues and the awarding of citizenship for a certain gentleman, I wonder whether Labor members will be saying that's evidence of cronyism and corruption that they use today in the House. I suspect that Mr. Shearer and Mr. Robertson will be singing a very different tune in the House next week. Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude with the facts. Labor went out and said the deal was filthy. They said that it stunk. The Auditor-General said they found no evidence to suggest, in fact they said these words, Nothing substantially wrong took place. If Labor wants any respect or credibility, they should get to their feet and apologise.
Has expired. Honourable John Banks.
Mr. Speaker, this is the question, is it not? What does